Hey guys, it's Randy here at etrailer.com. Today we wanted to take just a few minutes and go over how the Thule Camber is going to fit on your 2016 Acura MDX. We'll start with talking about some of the features of the bike rack that kind of set it apart. Of course, this is going to be a standard type hanging style for bike rack. The biggest difference though that we have with this rack versus most of the other racks is going to be the spacing in our cradles. So these are spaced about 7 inches from center to center. Looking at most other hanging style bike racks, that's going to be closer to 5, 5.5, or 6. So that gives us a better opportunity for separation between our bikes, and it's going to reduce the amount of time that they spend in contact with each other. I really like that. It uses an easy to use cradle system here. The strips, kind of like a cam buckle system there, gives us really good range. You can see that's going to be about its first spot, so even larger upper tubes on bikes really shouldn't be an issue. You see the rack's going to hold the bike in 3 positions. So we've got 2 here for the top tube on our frame. Then we've also got an anti-sway cradle here. That limits that forward and back movement. I think it does a pretty good job of that. You'll push in on the button to release your strap, and that'll allow us to remove the bike. Now with any hanging style bike rack, there's always a challenge with the anti-sway cradles as you put the bike on and take it off, especially if it's a more narrow frame, kind of like what we have here. These can be stored up and out of the way if you run into issues with that. Just gonna pop that out, and then that'll click up into the bottom of the cradle. Now, putting this in and out, if you click it all the way in, can be a little bit of a challenge. So if you're going to do that, I'd recommend just leaving it more in this position so you don't have to pop it in and out each time. It's going to be totally up to you though. You'll see as we come back, just a little bit of interference there. Not too bad though. Now the cradles themselves offer good protection for the bike. They have a really nice rubber lining in them. Right in here. It's going to help to absorb a lot of the road shock. Also protect the finish. Then you'll see the narrow grooves that run down through there. So your cables will have, either for brake or shifter, will have kind of some place to rest in there. And I like that the straps stay connected. Most people, if we're being honest, you're not going to put these back in and click them in. When you're done with taking your bike off, you're going to leave them open because that's where you'll need them when you put them back on. So these, you're not going to have to worry about them disappearing or falling off. I like that a lot. You can see fully extended here. We're adding quite a bit of distance to the rear of the vehicle. It's not going to be that much different than most other hanging bike racks though. It looks like in this position we're going to add, let's see, maybe 41 3/4 of an inch to the rear of our vehicle. We can tilt this down though. We can move these cradle arms from the outright position down into the stored position. And each time you move any of the components on this rack, you're going to hear that really loud click. That's going to engage and let us know positively that we've got it in the right position. And we're looking at stored. We bring our cradles in. Be about here is the furthest out point, and that's only about maybe 13 3/4 of an inch. So that's going to help us out a lot when it comes to tight parking spaces, parking garages, or maybe even pulling in our garage and being able to shut the garage door without removing it each time. Rear hatch access is always a concern with a hanging style rack. Got another lever right down there. It's going to allow us to tilt that down and away. You can see that gives you plenty of room to get in and out of that rear hatch, get anything out of there that you might need. Now we'll lift that back up. Again, we want to hear that loud click. That's going to indicate we're back ready to head down the road. Now I like the levers here. This really makes this rack simple. Some of these racks you're going to have set screws on that you have to tighten down or loosen when you want to tilt it away, and then a pin and clip you have to release. We don't have to worry about any of that here. I really appreciate that. Another thing I like, anti-rattle bolt right here. So you'll notice as I move that side to side, there's no play in our connection point. The only thing moving there is our vehicle. It's going to ensure that we have a nice solid ride for our bike. There's a tool included to tighten that down, or you can use a 19mm socket if you prefer to do that. Also, you'll notice right here, we have a smaller shank. That's for 1¼ hitches. So not only will this work for the 2-inch hitch like what we have it mounted in here, but also for 1¼ applications. So if you have a smaller car and then maybe an SUV or a truck with a larger hitch opening, you'll be able to use it on both. Last measurement that we've got here is going to be the closest point of the rack to the rear of our vehicle. It's going to be about 3 inches right there, but there's really no danger of it making any contact because that anti-rattle device is going to keep everything nice and secure. Overall, I really like this bike rack. I like the way it operates, and Thule tests all of their stuff way beyond what a lot of companies do to ensure that it's going to perform very well for a long time to come. The only thing this one's kind of missing for me, but it does keep it at a little better price point, is locks. Something like the Thule Apex will have locks already built in, both for your bikes and your connection point of your hitch to your vehicle. But that can be a pretty easily solved problem using like a cable lock if you've already got something like that at home. So just something to keep in mind. Now, we've got some footage of this out on our test course. So let's take a look at that now, show you how it looks in real world applications. Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, parking garage, or driveway.